Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. Assalamu alaikum. Shubal Khair, whatever you can call it. This is Senior Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, January 31st, 2022, Monday. This is now 3:54 a.m. मैं सूरज सिंह सिविल इंजीनियर भारत इंडिया से बोल रहा हूँ। आज दिनांक जनवरी 31, 2022 सोमवार सुबह के 3:54। Talk of quality, works, coordination, important items. Starting title is quality works and coordination. Then concrete, specs, civil, field engineering, life, engineers, contract books like red, silver, whites, safety, health, environment, design, construction, methods, arbitration, organizations, communication, coordination, why quality materials. I've added very important chapters onto this coordination. To quality itself, coordination, and also to contracts I've added arbitration and organizations. Just for indication that I'll also talk about this, though I used to talk in last videos, many videos, but I've added this, amended this title to this. So you can say coordination is an important one for us, as well as arbitration, which means dispute resolutions. And before going to come, we'll say this our usual papers, documents, statutory documents, passed out competency certificate, International Professional Engineer India, and you can see my, of course, email ID you can see on this board itself, which is my identification at home. I put this board on my home entry, and this is Chartered Engineer, International Professional Engineer India, whereas email is suraj_engineer@outlook.co.uk. This means suraj is suraj_engineer at yahoo.co.uk, and that's you can write mail to me if you wish. If you are interested, and this is just for indication of competency, this chartered engineer certificate, that means one is by law entitled to use this title and work in engineering as a competent engineer. And here is statutory membership under charter, that is chartered membership you can say, and fellow one of three membership, fellow, member, and associates, these three associate members in this Institution of Engineers India on behalf of this country, which means these three can use title Chartered Engineer India. And there's a quality file which I usually discuss every day, and I also started another file, and that is Coordination Engineering Projects and Engineers. I've added this file currently today itself, so that I can specifically talk on coordination engineering projects and engineers. I not explained anything till now, but because every day I talk something, I'll write on this, and we can then move on to confer on that. Coordination engineering projects and engineers, and we have now to close certain certificates on this. I can say I close this C certificate, I close fellow certificate, and come to quality itself and talk about that, because quality is very important part in our life, and there's nothing that we cannot do with quality. We can do nothing with quality, that's a fact. Without quality we cannot do anything, and that's you can say a part of life in fact, and we have to accept that fact. If you don't accept that fact, means we cheat ourselves, we can say. And also I like to discuss something on concrete itself. Concrete itself means concrete specifications, that you can say, and before also I discussed that, but specifically I like to repeat that chapter, and that is concrete channel, and this is something to do with, you can say, specifications of concrete from one nation. We'll see how can we, though year doesn't matter, but it says how concrete works. So we'll go through that as well, and this is my brief program I told you. So come back to our start of that, and you can say we have to discuss about concrete, about coordination engineering. I'm just trying to project this coordination engineering projects and engineers. Last time I had long discussion on certain pages from Australia interviews, what they explain about coordination, and that was here. In fact, very important talk. Yesterday was so long and boring, but boring doesn't mean anything. I can show you what I actually I tried to show that one, and that is, I think it's that one. Uh, Hold on, let's see. Coordination itself it was. So you can see what we discussed about that, and that was about this talk in this case, and it was your this was about empirical research methods in analysis and interpretations. They were discussed yesterday on this way, and it was technical coordination in engineering practice. It's technical coordination, of course. Coordination is coordination, technical, and generally it is technical only, which is very, very significant. And it was written by James Trevelyan, University of Western Australia, and I think I don't know exactly when it's published, but doesn't matter as far as what subject is, and that's an important one. It was technical coordination in engineering practice. James Trevelyan, School of Mechanical Engineering, University of Western Australia. In an abstract, it was very simple, as I last time studied. This time also I can, it's for your reference, very small page. One paragraph, I take this one only. An empirical ethnographic survey of engineers. An empirical ethnographic survey of engineers using interviews and field observations in Australia provides evidence that coordination or coordinating technical work of other people by gaining their willing cooperation is a major aspect of engineering practice. It says willing cooperation is a major aspect of engineering practice. So what does it mean? I repeat this: an empirical ethnographic survey. Empirical, it is not formula based. Empirical ethnographic survey of engineers using interviews and field observations in Australia provides evidence that coordinating technical work of other people by gaining their willing cooperation is a major aspect of engineering practice. Try to understand what this means. Technical coordination in context of this study means working with, influencing other people so that they consciously perform necessary work to a mutually agreed schedule. Here is time setup. Schedule means program or plan, time allowed to do something, or when something is to be worked upon. While coordination seems to be non-technical, analysis provides evidence supporting critical importance of technical expertise. Coordination usually involves one-on-one relationships with superiors, clients, peers, subordinates, and outsiders. Coordinating work of other people seems to be important from start of an engineering career. Engineering education only provides limited informal coordination skill development, and current accreditation criteria may not reflect this aspect of engineering. This paper suggests ways in which students can learn coordination and describes some of authors' experiences in applying research. Well, now then there's a history of this space and all that. I'm not going to details into that, but what abstract says in essence, and that's the important point which you have to think on. It says, first of all, that coordination is something very, very important, significant, and it should be made a focus. What I mean to say is that it should be made a focus, and that's the only reason how to reflect something. I try to do that coordination engineering projects. I have to think on, though I've been behind explaining this for long years, but I could not reach to that level to achieve success. But success or no success, that's not in my control. Coordination engineering projects and engineers are very much collaborative and should be. And that's why I try to get this page by search on Google and now to share with you. And that's why it says coordination, which has not been an integral part of engineering education in first degree, second degree or third degree. This means something has been missing. Something has been missing from education, and education design is not in our control, and it cannot be, because coordination is not subjective, it is overall. Coordination is not applicable in engineering only, it works everywhere in every part of life, in every activity of life. We have to keep in mind this point before jumping onto other issues. Coordination, as it's said in this abstract, is technical coordination. This means there can be possibilities of non-technical coordination also. Non-technical coordination, analysis provides evidence supporting critical importance of technical expertise. This means, in fact, if you take overall, if you say coordination means it involves every sector of life, because it can be non-technical coordination. A liaison is also a kind of coordination. And when a student studies, it's also another kind of coordination, though we may not realize that. Educational start itself is a coordination. Calculation also a kind of coordination. Mathematics, physics, chemistry, or whatever life we enjoy, or we are serious with that. Somewhere, everywhere, sometimes you find you cannot name that activity, and many activities are involved in certain cases, but that is another form of coordination. So you cannot formalize, you cannot say this is formula used for coordination, because coordination is not calculation based, it is understanding based. This means if there are many activities to go on together in some cases at various times, all those activities applicable in one time should be available at time of application, at time of working. And if one misses, what happens? Every part of that activity is broken from point of view of from implementation. You can consider case of our body we are living in. Your body, my body is a body. And there are many organs in our body. I'm talking of human body. In everybody's body, we have mind, we have heart, we have liver, we have kidney, we have legs, we have arms, all parts of body. You can list a number of parts on, And it's also true that we live, everybody is living. We feel a normalcy level and say, okay, I am sound mind, I have good health, I'm living well, there's no problem in me, I'm feeling well. I feel no pain, I feel no stress, and I'm okay, I take normal food. Every description of normalcy we write and we speak. Now we define ourselves, I'm normal, sir, I'm okay, no problem to me, I don't need doctor service at this moment, and I am having sound mind. Now let us say a small injury to one person causes complete panic in that person or pain in that person. If person feels I'm paining, not happy, I want some treatment. I'm giving this example because it's a reference, a kind of reference. If I'm even minorly injured, I feel pain, or some quantity of blood moves out, or my skin is broken or wounded. This means a little infection, a kind of pain that disturbs my sound health, sound mind, and I have to say something. You see so many parts, even one small minor injury can impact on us. Everybody is impacted upon. Even by small temporary fever makes a difference in ourselves. This means we cannot be 100% active in that moment. Either we are hyper or hypo, whatever we can say. We have some blood pressure, high blood pressure, low blood pressure. Likewise, we say, okay, at this moment I'm not feeling fine, I'm not feeling well. This means your body coordination is disturbed, is interrupted. Your body is perfect, it is sound, it is healthy, and that you can say it's in full coordination, successful coordination of its part, because all parts of body work together. You cannot say today my liver is not working or today my heart is not working, tomorrow it shall work. Can we say that? Or today I am not able to respire for 4 hours. I have not been able to respire for. I am still alive. We cannot say that. If you are not able to respirate or to breathe, you have to go to doctor for ventilator or for whatever, so that your perfect or your normal respiration is reinstated. This means something is wrong somewhere. All parts should work together. It's like machine. If one part is broken, it can't work. If one tire of a car is punctured, a car can't move normally. Same applies to bike, same applies to cycle. This means even a single part is adversely impacted upon. It cannot work. And that's where we are talking. Just an example, I have given you this body and car and all scooters. It happens in life. If I get some stone below my feet by walking or somewhere else, or even a small particle of 1 millimeter or half millimeter enters into my shoes and below my feet, it annoys me. I can't walk. Oh no, something is wrong somewhere below my sole. I have to remove that, otherwise I feel disturbed. I cannot walk. This happens, everybody knows it. You get my point. And that is very small particle of stone, but it impacts. It impacts heavily. That's what I am saying. Interpretation of coordination applies separately, individually, and you can say specifically, depending on situation, depending on act, what you do. That's the reason this writer says an empirical ethnographic survey of engineers using interviews and field observations in Australia provides evidence that coordinating technical work of other people by gaining their willing cooperation is a major aspect of engineering practice. Now, engineering practice, it's an important terminology here. Engineering practices says, it doesn't say engineering job. Practice means whether we do job on employment or we do our own practice or whatever we do. Every act in engineering is covered under engineering practice because engineering practice is important. You may do work in design, you may do work in research, you can do work in execution, you can do work in contracting, estimation or whatever. All comes under ambit of engineering practice. And engineering means unknown result, unknown imagination. Sometimes we imagine something that is still in a state of imagination, and it can be called something done when it comes on to some description on paper in forms of design, in forms of sketch, or in forms of something else. And then you can say something can come on, something can be started on that imagination or imagination based sketch. And we can say, okay, this is our conception, this is our, intuitive sketch. And then we start working on that. And at that stage you can say, intuition is transformed into engineering origin point. Now engineering comes on. Engineering is not dream. That was natural. That was not yours. That was God's engineering. God gave you some sketch. Now this comes into our field and we have to start something. Now when we say coordination, because we are talking of coordination and we are talking of quality here, coordination and quality, we are combining together. As I say in this file, for my country particularly, though it's for everyone, it says get up quality. I say get up quality, don't sleep. Stop sleeping. I say in ours means in our country, and it can be every country. It can be all countries, because quality is a question everywhere nowadays. Though it should be value added work, but we are questioning quality. This means forget value addition for time being, because quality is a question mark. And when I say quality, quality is directly related to coordination. And coordination is a medium, it's a path, or you can say it's an indirect way to jump onto quality system. Without coordination, and coordination means a part where communication plays a role. Communication is a part of coordination, and coordination means a route to quality. So you can say that way. Communication integrates with coordination, coordination integrates with quality, and quality leads to good project deliverables. We have to respect this point, this chain of sequence: communication, coordination, quality, and deliverables. A kind of different arrangement in organization or in contemplation, which we will call it management, I will call it personagement. Personagement, because personagement means every person is involved. So I can replace temporarily management with personagement. Personagement means for reviewing, for researching on, for moving on, for applying on this chain of sequence, or you can say this string: communication, coordination, you can say quality, project durables. All these are carried on by power of, by value of personagement or organization. Organization constitutes this string, and communication starts only when something is to be done, work is to be done, and that work is important here. Work means powerful item, because it has to depend on this string. A string, very important one, very much technical one, you can say. Communication is technical one, because we are talking of engineering. Coordination is, you can say, multiple communications and multiple considerations. And then we can say quality. And quality is also not singularized. It has many aspects. It depends on many contributions by this coordination. And then we can say deliverables, and deliverable means each item individually as well as integrity based or unity based, and that's what we have to accept. So what my country speaks and what your country speaks, I'm talking for everyone, but because specifically I'm concerned about my own nation, my own home nation, and that's Bharat, India, that speaks get up quality. So quality when gets up means coordination automatically gets up, and then coordination gets up, communication automatically works upon in network, and nothing can sleep at that moment. If quality or then deliverables are required, quality is a must. Stop sleeping in hours, I don't allow you to sleep, get up. And you're my friend, no need saying be my friend, but I have to say be my friend, because I have to request you all this string. I will add a string into this page also, because it's just now I added there. So be my friends, because I cannot work in my profession without you, and without you is the string now. So that string is quality plus coordination plus communication for work. I cannot work in my profession without you. And therefore we can say we are friends together for all others. Who we are? Components of this string. We are friends all to get deliveries, and those deliveries can come out only if we are well educated I'm saying educated in quality, educated in coordination, educated in communication, or you can say a kind of intellectual system. It's intellectual system because deliverable is based on complete intellectualism of a combination of quality, coordination and communication based on requirement of works. Quality, you cannot leave me when I say quality. Again I say it includes coordination, it includes communication. Quality, you cannot leave me because you are my destiny. And when I term it destiny, it is very much permanent indicator. It is permanent indicator for nation as well. And as it is said in this space, and that is here, I would say yes. Again I say this technical coordination in context of that research study, which means working with and influencing other people so they consciously perform necessary work to a mutually agreed schedule. This line, this sentence refers to a kind of arrangement, a kind of organization, a kind of spiritual input that communication works for what is required, coordination works for what is required. It's a unit of coordination. It says working with influencing other people. It's no question of influencing alone. Okay, you have to pass information to them. They have to work on that. Everybody feels happy if information is provided in time and nobody has to wait for that. Technical coordination in context of this study means working with and influencing other people so that consciously perform necessary work to a mutually agreed schedule. And we know in works, when we do projects, what are important points? Cost, quality, time. First we say time we have to manage, and depending on time we know how we have to arrange resources, and resources means cost. We have to fix cost for an item, and that cost depends on time. And of course quality is fixed and we cannot change it. So cost, quality, time, these are many factors more than them, but these are very fundamental requirements, parameters, and we have to respect them in addition to other requirements, other organizational issues. And we can say while coordinating, whenever we coordinate, it may be technical or maybe non-technical, both are involved. Coordination cannot be isolated that this part is technical and this part is non-technical. No, it's both. Technical involves non-technical. When you deal with some other people, that dealing is not technical, that is non-technical, but administrative. That is, you can say, cooperative. That is, you can say, how to treat others. As far as personal dealing is concerned, or group dealing is concerned, or organization dealing is concerned, how to have interactions with other, interactive dealing, and that's not separate coordination, but a kind of process of coordination within coordination technology itself. I can say coordination technology or coordination engineering because coordination has not been formally defined in subject form or in professional form. Coordination means it starts from imagination and leads to final delivery. Coordination is a kind of network, coordination network, where communication plays an important role. While coordinating, so we can say coordination is very common word. And in ordinary life also, coordination works, and if coordination works fine, the results do positive and favorable. And it applies everywhere, not only in engineering but also in all other professions. For example, you can take question of governments. In countries, every country has government and governments work everywhere, and there are procedures and systems devised by every government for purpose of communication and coordination, though these may not be suitable, these may change from time to time, but people have to work. It's not engineering alone, it is procedural. Let's say we have methods, we have systems, and those systems are based on understanding of how to do best work in best possible time or minimum time and with the maximum efficiency, and that's where coordination works. And if coordination doesn't work, nothing can happen. So no results can come in. There are ministries and there are institutions and there are various other ways. How there are procedures defined in administrative control, in commercial controls, in managerial controls, in organization controls. And communication plays an important role. Coordination cannot be done without support of communication. And how clear is communication, how best is, and sometimes you say, it's always said, okay, I did not speak this, but it has been wrongly interpreted, and that's also lapse of coordination and lapse of, you can say, communication at least. So we can say it's not simply technical or non-technical, it's general, it's overall, it's blanket. Coordination is blanket, communication is blanket. Without that, or you can say like a carpet application. Coordination, we may not give formal name, but it applies everywhere in life. So what's that? While coordination seems to be non-technical, analysis provides evidence supporting critical importance of technical expertise. Technical expertise, if you do something many times, technically or non-technically, both can be called expertise. Because every time you do, you will do better. Every time you do, you may add something to that. And that's why you can say it moves on and on with incremental advancement. Incremental, I mean, it's not equal increment, but some increment. If you add something to previous one, it is increment. Or if you improve something to previous one, it's also increment. Coordination usually involves one-on-one relationship, though it is one-on-one relationships in ordinary terminology. But I would not say that actually, yes, it may be in non-administrative, or non-technical coordination, but when technical or engineering or technological based coordination is involved, it cannot be called one-on-one relationship, rather it is work relationship. Work to work relationship, activity to activity relationship, consideration on consideration relationship. It's not individual involvement alone, because work speaks, requirement speaks, specifications speak, and we have to move on that. And those whoever are involved, who personal are that, they have to realize this fact because they have to deliver. It's not question of you sit and desk and everything will move on. It doesn't happen in engineering itself. Engineering is something which is different, means there's sometimes you cannot define system itself, because 70% activities which do on engineering works are done without any formal description, and we can just move on and on and on. So you cannot compare technical and non-technical. Technical is something which everything cannot be described upon, but administratively can be defined, organizational can be defined, or you can say procedures which are permanent one that can be defined. But in technology world, in engineering world, there are so many activities every day. In every item there are so many activities. Everything cannot be standardized. We have to keep this point in mind while doing coordination or doing communication. Every communication cannot be standard language. Every communication cannot be what people expect it to be. You cannot keep everything in writing, and you can't say, okay, I'm giving you this, you give me sign. No, it doesn't work in coordination, particularly where civil engineering is involved. Civil engineering or construction engineering, these are different worlds. Worlds behind world, or can say concealment from open world. That concealment doesn't mean secret, but because of various issues related, it's something where we don't want intervention, we don't want disturbance on works. Because humans are involved, machines are involved, we have to consider, we have to keep in mind safety issues also. Public has to remain safe. We cannot allow everybody to come and see what's happening. In that case, we won't be able to work efficiently. Though it says coordination usually involves one-on-one relationship, but I with superiors, clients, peers, subordinates, and outsiders, but it is applicable as a part of total coordination. Coordinating work of other people seems to be important from start of engineering career. Well, work of other people or work of your own, I would say it is work of everybody in engineering. I cannot say it's work of other people, rather I would say it's work of project. Work of project, and when it's work of project, it's my work. Now, why this paper is important and why what I'm trying to discuss is also very important, though I'm giving this some formal information from this page, but it is nothing new, I should say. Engineering education only provides limited informal coordination. It's true. Engineering education only provides limited informal coordination skill development. I won't accept this because there is nothing as such in engineering education which can tell you what is coordination, its quality, and current accreditation criteria may not reflect this aspect of engineering, and that's fine. Nothing is there in engineering education. Even you have whatever degrees you have, even if you all say up to doctorate or postdoctorate, means this something which you don't learn. And this is learned whole life, and you are forced to learn. And if you cannot learn coordination and quality skills or communication skills in profession, and this is not that communication skill which in normal way, in just I can say in ordinary life, in business life, in commercial life, in just like news items are there. You cannot compare it to that type of communication because these are different. Well, there's superficial communication. These communication not permanent. You can say whatever news item is there, whatever other notification is something else. That is different. When it's all systemized, they have measured specification. They don't go beyond that. But in engineering, in construction, it doesn't apply that way. There's every time we have changes, we have different opinions. And that's the reason only means we are talking at very low level, we refer to education. Education is very normal, means it gives only input, means about, and even in the subjects you can say, we are not experts when we pass out. So we have to say, it may be designs, it may be research, it may be your work on site, or it may be whatever else, production, manufacturing. You have to start learning when you come to work. And actually, real education of engineering starts from there in terms of physical work, in terms of commercial work, in terms of progress, in terms of development. No, you can say, no one can say at that time that I am engineer. You may say by appointment, you may say by your educational qualification, but actually student of engineer starts from work itself. That's the reason I'm trying to emphasize on coordination, because there has been misunderstanding about coordination in ourselves. Just like it says in introduction here, unfortunately there are few reliable reports of research on an engineering practice. Very few observations have been reported, for example, on actual work performed by engineers, technical managers, planners, technologists, and technicians. Certain processes in engineering practice, such as design and project management, have been extensively studied, yet many other aspects, such as maintenance, have hardly received any attention at all. This is all more surprising given extensive debates and written literature on engineering education. An accurate account of engineering practice could help educators explain relevance of coursework to students, helping to provide appropriate motivation for learning. Such an account may also reveal opportunities to improve curriculum design, and that's this more important point. This is curriculum design opportunity to improve, and this project starts comparison of engineering practice to be, so well, I'm not going to that one. point is, can we think on about to involve engineering students at time of education to understand coordination, to understand communication, like that. I have seen practically, so please don't take it otherwise. Generally, in engineering, particularly in those parts of nations, those nations where engineering dominates, in language such as English. English, though I'm not saying it applies all over the world same way, but wherever it applies, English applies in whatever countries. For example, in our country, India, Bharat, maybe in Pakistan, maybe in Gulf countries, or maybe many other parts of worlds, USA, England, Canada, certain parts of Europe, wherever language dominates in form of English. I have seen that writing of English or writing of whatever language is also a kind of requirement of skills. You cannot write anything or something descriptively, or you can say you think I have written pages on this, but we have to keep in mind length of writing is not important. Length of writing is not important. We don't want history, we want facts, and that too precise one. You can say self-speaking, a speaking one, rather than rain or storming one. Point should be clear. You see, there's a basic saying in engineering education, in engineering world, that what is required is concept. If concept is clear, if my written, my statement, my specification is understood by a person with having good knowledge of engineering, if that person clearly understands what I specify, this case says, this writing says it's okay, it's acceptable. If my intention is in written form goes to someone else who reads it and say I can do it. And that is what is important here. We don't have to think about scholastic work. We don't have to think about how difficult it is to write or how more and more difficulty, or we can give it to that person who understands how to read it. It should be in such a complicated language that that person has to either discard this writing or to open dictionary many times to find what's interpretation of this article or of this word. That we do not need. We are not going to study language. First of all, let me be clear. Standard of language is okay, it's fine, but we are not going to do research on language. It is technical work, engineering work, and communication says it should be clearly expressed in certain terminology, in certain phraseology. As far as explanation gives clear meaning of what is required, that is enough. We don't want to just talk same thing again and again. Person has to understand what is required. And that is where communication can say is successful. And there can be many instances in every work that you cannot depend on only one communication. You have to get communications at many levels, and you have to combine those communications to reach outcome of what is to be done. That is really important. And it's also true that in our education system we cannot do it because we do not know what is to be done. Theoretical study is one part of life. Tutorials are also one part of life. experiments, all etc. are also one part of life. But real work, when it comes into play, it is something that we have to know about, we have to control, where pragmatism of an individual works, experience of an individual works, and that experience is very, very important. And we have to consider this point while we say that coordination engineering projects and engineers, these are all very important. It's just title I'm showing to you. I've not done anything on this till now. I'll try to do it because coordination engineering is wide term, is wide subject. I think there is no end to coordination engineering projects, and engineers, they have to work it in different mode, in working mode. It's very important one. And then we can say, if we come back to quality file, as I said, quality, you cannot leave me because you are my destiny, and for nation as well, as I say. And when we say, we again say, others may not. Quality, my dear quality, others may not do. Don't worry. Others may not. But, what I say, others may not, but engineers can handle you successfully. And engineers means those who have experience in engineering based on their academical performance in education of engineering. I am saying based on educational performance because educational performance is very important. It's very significant because no one is perfect. No one is perfect. Even if you are a merit, it doesn't mean you are perfect in education. Education is only learning stage. And it's also true. Nobody learns 100% during education. It may be ordinary school education, or it may be professional engineering education, or it may be medical. No one studies 100% because, first of all, what grade you got in examination, or how many percent marks you got, that's one missing point, that nobody is perfect. Then there are options in examinations. You do this question or that question. Maybe out of 10 you have to do 5 questions or 6 questions or 7 questions. This means you are not testified for all questions. And you may say, okay, out of 10 I am doing only 6. And out of 6, if you get 3 done, you get passed because 50%. This means, in fact, if you do 50%, it's nothing but it is only 30% or 25%. At 35% achievement, you are given a certificate that you qualified this subject. This means that's I try to relate to my educational performance, as I said, performance during education, which is not to mark. It's just passing a standard, it's not professional standard. It doesn't amount to professional standard. It just allows you a permit or a visa to enter professional activities, to be called professionally an engineer who can work. That's it. It doesn't tell you are this level of worker, you have this much knowledge, that you have to exhibit, you have to demonstrate in field. And that's why I say, for purpose of admission to higher education or for purpose to work in profession, that standard of your result works, but at that time only, not later. Once you are on job or employment, you have to work, and your work would demonstrate who you are, what's your understanding of profession, what's your understanding of work. Are you dedicated to this? Are you committed to this? Are you interested to do this? All parameters can be expressed there in whatever form. That's why we say engineers can handle you successfully. And here engineer is not just entering into profession, but who has got multi-experience in life, who have got real understanding of engineering on field, in field, during all activities in field. And that's why if I say I have so many years of experience, but actually I did nothing, my experience is void. Experience means knowledge of work. How many mistakes one made, it's also a question. People avoid to show that I did mistake. I don't say I did. I say if I did, I did. Because there is no one who doesn't make a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake, and mistakes, by making mistakes, we learn. And that's also very point that we should not run away, because in engineering, construction, engineering design, there is no way that you will not make any mistake. And mistake is not a crime either. It's something ignored. If I ignore something, you may say I missed it. And nobody intentionally does any error. It happens. It happens because of many reasons. So we say nobody handles you, others may not handle you, but those who have been educated in engineering, they can handle you successfully. And your successfully handling means success of engineer and success of personnel. And you can say result of whatever next activity is required of that. So you can say we require to establish you permanently in engineering professions and also other walks of life. Though nothing is going to work, everything is worked upon, time moves on, items move on, work moves on, but establishment is required. And that establishment is very important point here. It's no joke, because establishment is reality. Establish, re-establish, re-establish, establishment continues. Nothing should be stagnant. Stagnancy means pollution. If something is stagnant in profession, we cannot say that this is now profession. Stagnation is not recognized in engineering world. It should move and move and move. It's like river water. It's like river water. If you see section, water has to keep flowing. If that water stops flowing, you can say mosquitoes may breed, something else would happen, and it would be impacted upon by non-required agencies from nature, from someone else. So what I mean to say, engineering is a flow of knowledge. Engineering never stops. Worker never stops. One has to learn every day, every hour. One has to learn how to do it, how to do his best, how to improve it, how to check it. Means self-activity is first requirement, and then supervisor's activity is another requirement. Likewise, you can say. When you say, we require to establish quality, coordination, communication permanently in engineering profession and also other walks of life. Other walks means all other walks. Today, we have seen it's clear that those who have to lead us are not mandated by any law to be qualified. So that is weak point in every country. Though it's political, but it's not political as far as this talk is concerned. Because having no capability of quality system, having no capability of successfully coordinating activities, and you can say flawed communication system, every activity is delayed. Nobody sits together to have problems discussed and find resolutions. It doesn't happen, and that's where lapses is coordination and lapses is communication. Communication lapse means quality lapse, and quality lapse means work lapse. You have to keep in mind, and whatever lapse means time lapse, work lapse. Likewise, have active quality, performing applications, quality SHE sufficiently, This is just same statements I gave before, but it's not time of statement, it's time of understanding why I'm saying, why we are saying, what is the reason behind, and why we should think of this every time, every moment in a different mode. And we can say that I'm just putting off switch of battery. So as I said here about coordination, I'll reinstate to system of quality engineering, because quality engineering is highlighted. When we say quality engineering, it's not quality alone, it's world of quality. It's world of quality, and we should say, maybe you people start boring now, I'm sure, but I'm not boring, because I innovate in quality itself, I innovate in quality itself coordination, I innovate in quality itself communication, I innovate in quality itself new way of safety, new way of research, or you can say new way of every requirement. When I add coordination to my talk, it's nothing new in fact. I just try to name it. There was no time, and there shall be no time when coordination is not included. It was included. And of course, I included arbitration as well. Arbitration, though everybody is not interested in, but it happens in quality. It happens in contracts. It's not financial arbitration alone. We have to decide something on works itself. A kind of arrangement where approval or rejection are considered. Approval or rejection, or you can say in between approval and rejection. We say, okay, this is neither approved nor rejected. I accept it subject to certain comments, and we formally call it approved with comments. So they are very, very important items like approved with comments, and rejected. These 3 points are very significant from quality viewpoint and from system quality viewpoint, because it is system that says something, or you can say it's not technical orientation here. Here is procedural orientation. Of course, we are talking about technical activity, and that's material or drawing or whatever. But we are saying this is not done. That stage, that coverage, that scope of approval or rejection I'm talking, and that is another part of procedure, another part of a system of quality, and you can say coordination. Because we coordinate, we can say, okay, this is approved. And because we coordinate, we say this is not approved, or this lies somewhere in between. Therefore, this means there has been lapse in your coordination, there's been lapse in your understanding of what's required, and there's something is lapse, something is missing. And what is missing is this, what we comment about. And maybe we can comment more when you resubmit something. That's a point here in quality engineering. Engineering quality and quality engineering. When we say engineering quality, this means quality of works. And when we say quality engineering, this means just like quality system. We say this is quality system or the system quality. Both are different. You try to get my point. System quality and quality system. When it's a quality system, means this is a system where quality has been completely taken care of. And this engineering quality or system quality means this is a system and this is limitation of quality in this. So you can say quality system, system quality. Quality system is a gross term, you may say. You have to decide yourself which system you are going to do. Likewise, we can say that's important point. And likewise, as I said, there are separate points also, as you said in this space, and that is, you can say, for example, we refer to concrete specification. And this, of course, is from some country, and that's Qatar, of course, just for reference, I've taken it. And this for concrete. What is concrete? How we have to do it? What is required? Where is to be laid? Which part of work is this? Of course, a part of development. But concrete is such a flexible item that can be applied everywhere. And we can also say that concrete is like a universal material. It's material that can be used everywhere. So it's something different. You may not say same, you may not say that it applies to some other material. For example, it's a concrete example. It says in this section, as it says in the specification of this specification is that concrete specification says that this section applies. This section includes requirements for concrete work for pipelines, roadworks, runways, structures, water retaining structures, foundations and bases for structures and equipment, and so on like that. This means this applies everywhere in development. Everywhere in development and in considerable quantity. There's no limit on quantity. There is no limit on designs. It's not said, but this says it's something that is applicable everywhere. And there's no other material we can say like that. It's applicable everywhere. Of course, when we talk of concrete, we talk of reinforcement also. Concrete is never free of reinforcement. So reinforcement and concrete both work together, and therefore both are included in this. I must say, from understanding viewpoint, we have such an important material we use, but we never consider it in brainstorming so important materials that amounts to about the major part of cost as far as work is concerned. Cost-wise, time-wise, quality-wise, concrete is very significant, and it commands of them. And also, it's not material alone; it's a kind of term. You can say concrete, and concrete indicates a signal towards concrete means solid, towards strong material. Oh, this is concrete work, you can say. It means, of course, it can be material of concrete work, or it can be other work which is very concrete, which is sound, reliable. We can say this is concrete answer you're giving. Your answer is concrete, your statement is concrete, your talk, your question is concrete, the answer is concrete, whatever you say. So what we say that when we talk of this, concrete comes into play. At least currently, brick doesn't come to that uniform level or that widespread level. Same way, other items do not come to that level, but concrete does. That's the reason I say specifically there are reasons, and we have long specifications for this. For example, I'm just giving an example only. It says this part includes relevant standards, definitions, abbreviations, and requirements for testing facilities, or you can say rejected materials and record keeping. And there are various sections in this part of concrete specifications. For example, this section itself, then it is aggregates, cementitious materials, water, admixtures, property requirements, concrete plans, transportation and placing of concrete, formwork, curing, reinforcement, construction joints, inspection and testing of hardened concrete, protective coatings to concrete, hot weather concrete, miscellaneous pre-cast concrete, pre-stressed concrete, water retaining structures. Likewise, certain sections of parts are given, and there are then other parts like general quality assurance and quality control, foundations and retaining structures, roadworks, drainage works, mechanical and electrical equipment. These are certainly given terms that we have to take care of, but here is, when we talk of gross world quality engineering, it doesn't mean concrete only. It means all materials, single materials or combination of materials, composite materials, whatever we have to adopt, we have to see into quality engineering approach. And that applies to working designs, basic designs, working designs, manufacturing, construction procedures, and all that applies to. And that's an important point, I will say, when I say that quality engineering, though it's not formal subject, just like no subject is composed of coordination or communication, or we can say in general terms that communication is individual based or personalized. Communication is personalized and coordination is also personalized. It is personal caliber of individual professional or a person that what level or what standard of communication is affected, what standard of coordination is done. Coordination doesn't require any evidence, because when work is done, it is based on coordination. But communication can play some role in that regard. How effective is communication? We can communicate like editors or press reporters. We have to communicate in different world. And we have to communicate in engineering particularly. We have to depend on sketches, on drawings, or on expression of details, elaborately, details-wise, and so that, we say in engineering that one sketch explains or provides information which many pages of text cannot provide. So you may say that sketch is a part of top level communication, sketch or drawing, or you may say technical specifications. These are all parts of explicit system of, as I said, coordination and communication. That's why we have to be serious about that issue. It's not anything that we can say you can have a degree certificate or master's certificate or doctor's certificate for coordination qualification or for communication qualification. In fact, these communication value qualification standard, you may say coordination value, you have to achieve yourself. That's what I say, nobody is perfect when you pass your engineering degree. It means only that you have to enter field, you are well qualified to enter this field and learn more and more. Of course you have to do work also, and that work depends on your personal levels, personal expertise. If you are not very well educated in engineering but you have degrees, to some extent you can work, but you cannot move to that extent until you are dedicated to that. You have to learn more and more. Means after passing examination of education, you are free to learn. Don't think what you did in past, but you have to think what you have to do now. And when you work on projects, you are given exposure to many lessons, many provisions on that every project. And learning is never-ending business. Learning has no limit. You may learn at whatever age, but learning should be realistic. It should. Sometimes you learn because you teach others. That's also important. So we can say there is no single classification for coordination, for communication, or for quality. Quality is descriptive, same way coordination and communications are descriptive in different forms, in different word requirements. We cannot just systemize into one page or one talk and one terminology. No, you have to do this. This is formula. You cannot change it. It depends on requirements, and that very perfectly we know it. And that's the reason that coordination is something, it's not new of course, but we have to consider as a part of engineering. Practically it is. Those who have updated knowledge in engineering world, they know what is meaning of coordination and they know what is communication. Coordination engineering, projects and engineers all are related or are relatives. They cannot isolate each other. No one can do that because speaking in engineering is limited. Only profession in which speak is not valued much, work value much, works value much, documents value much. Engineering means you have to document what is to be done. You have to document it. And because you have to document for everyone who can read your writing, who can read your statement, who can interpret what you have written. And that is where communication works, coordination works, and these are very important terms in world of engineering. That's the reason I say quality engineering approach. And this approach applies to every part of project from inception stage to contract stage to work stage and to end stage of project and then to service stage. It applies everywhere in terms of in title of designs, in title of manufacturing, in title of construction or post-construction during operational stage. We may say that. Now we say, okay, to do assessment for working and considerations for quality goals in all works. It is self-explanatory itself that you have to do your own assessment. First you have to do your own assessment because you are also technical person, engineering person, and you must know what is engineering and what it's all about. Means specialized work and specialized professional, where open public or normal public does not mean anything. They trust you in sense of commerce, in sense of something that cannot be measured in terms of ideals only. So continuation or continuously to assessment of working and considerations for quality goals in all works. These are two important points that there's no way you can stop assessing your work. You have to assess your work and you have to consider whether or not you achieve your quality goal or you do not have this. Fixing quality is something that this is not hammer or nail you can use it and club to. You have to fix it in everyday work, in everyday life, in everyday your standards of living. That's why I say quality has no bounds. It is boundless world, like coordination. An important point is also that means somebody says, okay, give me concession means give me concessions on this, I fail to do this. If somebody says that, I don't accept this. I don't accept this as a professional, maybe as a person I may do, or maybe as you can say thoughtless person, I may accept that. But here we are thinking. When we think, we cannot say it is thoughtless. Fixed quality is very important term. I'm not talking exactly that in this country I'm just saying fixed quality. Fixed quality come what may. Fixed quality come what may. Come what may, it's English phrase that whatever happens, whatever may happen, I least bother, but you have to do it. Got it? Fixed quality come what may, no excuse for concessions. It is also very big issue, no excuse for concessions. Now it depends upon why somebody would demand concession. That's the question mark. It's terminology, it's contract word, concessions. What concessions? What did you do to want concession? Did they crime? No. Do something? No. Concession can be given on time requirement, concession can be given on, you can say, some other relief, concession can be, but as far as work is concerned, as far as quality is concerned, concession, how can you demand concession? Point lies here, in fact, why you come with define this you can say concession. It's something ordinary life world also. Give some concession. And in profession, it's very important. Concession can be given for some parameters, for some other knowledge areas, but not to standard requirement. Not to standard requirement of quality, of specification. And when we say quality, ordinary word is for, says, can be said as specification. Specification is that part of system, that part of quality, which describes quality itself. You can say detailed quality requirements. Detailed quality requirements are, this vary from one item to other item, one project to other project. So fixed quality is very important point. We have to do it. We have to fix quality. And if we cannot fix it, this means we have no decisive power. We have no decisive power to make, and when we don't have any decisive power, this means we don't have any capability. We don't have any goal. And if somebody forces us to have this goal and we do not work that way, we work some other way, how can we fulfill that goal? So to be very frank, engineer has to be clear in every term. In every terminology, we have to be clear. And if you're not clear, it's bad for you, it's bad for profession, and it's bad for nation. And we can say that quality, you have to do something. Though I will do, but you have to do something. I don't want any concession. Concession is not in my blood. I don't expect any relief for which I'm not qualified enough, or I am not capacity enough. And that's the point here. And we can say work quality cannot be compromised. Work quality cannot be compromised, and therefore we do not intend to compromise. We do not intend to compromise because work quality cannot be compromised. And here compromise, promises from both sides, both ends, that you don't do this, no problem, I want to do this, or if you do this, I will do this. It happens, reciprocative understanding that we cannot do everything ourselves except that we think we do. So just in name of fragile existing, we cannot say works quality cannot be compromised, and therefore we do not intend to compromise. That's true, is no one has gotten the right to you can say compromise with requirements. cannot do that, but only problem lies in those users who can say, do not intend to compromise just in name of fragile system of quality or fragile existing quality system, compliance formality, and excuses quality system may fail, but works quality must perform. Delivered. As I said, an example of air crash. 100 people were there. Nobody broke there. So I say fragile existing quality system. We have to respect system. There's nothing wrong in that because system helps us. We respect them. We respect everybody. Fragile existing quality system, compliance, formality, and excuse. No excuse, please. I don't want an excuse. I don't give an excuse as far as quality is concerned. Somebody says, see, just give me excuse on this point or this part. No, I want. Why excuse? Are you beggars? What excuse? Why you want excuse? You are a professional. Even if you are a contractor, you are a professional. You are a student of engineering, you are a professional. Why do you expect concessions? What has come into your head that you cannot toilet now? You have to really give weightage to such points. Quality system may fail but works. Now I will come back to point of coordination here, which is again I say, we cannot go without this. There is no way. We can avoid coordination and we can avoid engineering and of course projects and engineers. As we said that in this talk of, if you go further you will find that here something notes written that is engineering practice different in one part than in the other part? How can it be different? Questions come in. Maybe reasons, there may be really certain requirements. You have to do it intellectually. Now, my purpose is not to explain this page all again. I have spoken on this page, and there are so many points in this that relate to us, and it's also confirmed that coordination is not given any weight now. We say in some discourse, engineering has been considered to be purely technical, right? In some discourse, engineering has been considered to be purely technical. Samuel is given his, presented a comprehensive account of continuing education and on-job learning for engineering without mentioning any non-technical skills training at all. So there's so many points that we can refer to, and we can say, for example, this specification itself is very wide. It gives so many references here for coordination purpose if you require. For example, so many codes are given here, directly and indirectly, and definitions are there, and all this indicate power or can say level of communication that is going on. That's there, and of course, then we can say uh, implementation starts for everything. How to control it, how to do that, all part of quality, all part of the strength which gave to you. Now, such subject of coordination of quality, you cannot just put in an envelope, because these both are open verbs. You have to give statement at joining general time. I mean, now it comes to I'm not going to today stress on you can say, you may say on this part of communication, coordination. I'm just going to refer it as different, and this is point of field quality control and works. There, see, field work is very different if you consider in construction engineering. It's not like other branches of engineering. You'll see maybe behind your home there was pharmacy, used to work in pharmacies. We have to not only think of quality but also quantity as well, because quality can be given only in limited form of tolerance. You can't say that it is the Now, what we say here, I'm not going to specifications, I'm going to quality again, as we said. What says? Compliance, formality, and excuse. Quality system may fail, but works quality must perform and must be delivered. Though it's very simple statement, but can we accept like this? We should keep in mind again and again that civil construction is done for many decades to come. That point cannot be taken for granted because it is a fact. It's a fact and we can't take it for granted. And that's why there is no limit in our activities, and there is no limit that we can say no, now we are away from that. Such a complex situation arises in construction world. First of all, one has to stay on work for duration of work, which can vary from 1 year to a couple of years. Of course, employees move from one site to other, even if there is no necessity of them. When we talk of quality, we have to be very specific. Understanding quality is very important part of career. And understanding quality means we have to find more research on every works or every which is very important. There is no way out. Quality works must perform. Quality work must perform, quality work must be produced, and quality works must be, before producing, contemplated very well. How best we can do, what standard we can achieve, and what can be done otherwise. In our country, it doesn't work so far. To be very clear, it doesn't work. So we have to see that what says that can we know and apply quality standards complied with overseas world. Why I am trying to compare it with overseas. And here overseas doesn't mean every country, a specific country where you could find something. Those are. Now my point of view explaining all this is very much pointed. Very much pointed. If you find that there is a problem in quality system or in quality itself, if we know that, how many of ourselves have been serious in this regard to change scenario? How many of us? It's not enthusiastic figure we can say. I've seen many engineers. Of course, everybody sees that when you have some meeting, when questions have come for socialization, and those questions are fictitious answers, I can say. Those are fictitious answers. And how can we do? We have to understand those points. Can we know and apply quality standards per overseas requirements? And I would simply say there is no overseas requirements. Nothing is overseas in quality and engineering. Nothing is overseas. Maybe requirements of countries are different depending on local circumstances, local situation, domestic situation. But overall, it is same. In fact, we don't understand what quality is. That's a problem. We don't understand what's quality, and we can say, okay, we are following this system, and that's it. If I ask someone to go to site, test it, check it, and bring a total report, and how to do it, how to consider total report can be a question mark. Why we should not revisit quality required specifications and update per world working standards requirements. Revisit what? Quality. Revisit quality, which means revisit coordination, revisit what is described in terms of specification, or maybe something we missed, we did not care for. It can happen everywhere. News coming from whatever happens, you can say There's no standards we have fixed for quality and for quantity. Something is very open, we have to see. Datas are open, work is open, but we are not open. That's where problem lies in. Why may it not happen? You have to think. We have to revisit everything. I say revisit quality, but we have to revisit every part of our system, our project. We have to revisit quality required, and for that purpose we have to revisit all records which we made. We have to make a revision and find where we lapsed. And it's not long term, it is short term as well, where we lapsed in quality, in understanding specifications, and we lapsed in complete system. And we can say really we have certainly worsening state of quality of works, and how to improve such you can say improve such mandated works quality to you can say certain minimum required marks, standard marks, at least to match with minimum international requirements. Now, international requirement is not horrific, it's very ordinary talks which everybody has to recognize it. Okay, so we move forward now for further contemplation on this subject, and that's very important from every point of view, we can say. I'll put up this file now. It is coordination. This file I put off for time being, and it is quality that I prefer to work on. And we say we have certainly worsening state of quality of works, and this is nothing you can say we have to hide. Hiding is no solution. Reaching bad to good is a requirement, is a solution. We have nothing to hide. That's the point here. Why should we hide? There is no meaning at all to hide, and that's what we say. Why hide? When we say coordination, also we can find more in that. If you search out coordination, how it is, how it works, how we can just close this file now for time being, and we can say that we can find more important items of coordination. If you say, I'll try to find more on engineering coordination. When you say engineering coordination, which is very important for me timely because we have to learn it. As we say, an engineering coordinator is an individual who is responsible for development and implementation of specific engineering projects. And it's very it says engineering coordinator's responsibilities and duties. Let us see what is that. Engineering coordination jobs. Now I'm not interested in that. It's jippa.com, and what it says, let me see. Jippa.com says something about engineering coordinator do. I'm just trying to see what people think about engineering coordinator, and it says an engineering coordinator organizes and oversees engineering projects. They typically perform administrative support tasks such as conducting extensive research and analysis, arrangement or arranging schedules with clients, handling calls and correspondence, liaising with internal and external parties, reviewing contracts and other documentations, and managing flow of documents and information across different teams. They may also participate in planning, designing and development stages of projects. Moreover, as an engineering coordinator, essential to maintain an active communication line with different departments while implementing company policies and regulations. So there are some items that we can show you here. Very brief discussion it is. It's not very. Let me show you print out of this, because this is also important. To some extent, whatever information we get, we should talk and confirm that. It's very, you can say, good. If you can do that, there's only a small page here, and you can see so many pages one by one. And here is one, I can say. I'll show you that one's coming. Just now wait for a few moments, and printout is coming. And it has come actually. And it is, what does an engineering coordinator do? And that's the point is, what's an engineering coordinator do? What does an engineering coordinator do? And as I spoke just now, star one, I repeat, it says, this page says, an engineering coordinator organizes and oversees engineering projects, typically perform administrative support tasks such as conducting extensive research, analysis, arranging schedules with clients, handling calls and correspondence, liaising with internal and external parties, reviewing contracts and other documents, and managing flow of documents and information across different teams. May also participate in planning, designing, and developing stages of projects. Moreover, as an engineering coordinator, it is essential to maintain an active communication line with different departments while implementing companies' policies and regulations. Engineering coordinator responsibilities, just in brief, here are some responsibilities, here are some examples of responsibilities. A real engineering coordinator assumes representing typical tasks that they are likely to perform in their role. Maybe job descriptions, you may say, but we are not, I mean, just to know means what we talk of, and that's important, and it is here. It says evaluate, manage or organize and support new product release, relate artwork and existing BOMs utilizing PLM database. Develop and execute change request and document control procedures for positive process improvement and achieve documents consistency. Achievement document consistency. Let me see which page I'm talking of. Are you looking at that? Yeah, you're looking at that, so it's okay. And it's develop and execute the change request and document control procedures for positive process improvement. Develop and execute change request and document control procedures for positive process improvement and achieve documentation consistency within company. Lead a cross-function team to participate plant-wide entrepreneur resource program and system launch, ERP system launch, establish a prototype electrical operations and maintenance activities evaluation system, generate document ECO product releases through SharePoint, confer with document originators and engineering personnel to troubleshoot issues and resolve BOM discrepancies. And though it is some specific, no problem, we have to understand. Implement routing procedures in company document organization management system for increasing flow of communication and accessing information between administrative personnel. Provide assistance to client regarding FDA and IS regulatory compliance. Assist with correcting and calculating payroll and commissions for technicians. Provide phone support to troubleshoot needs of clients and develop customer loyalty. Help develop a database in Microsoft SharePoint and now aim at administrator, record keeping, payroll, filing, answer phone and inventory. Maintain routine system including member of implementation team for new ERP system. Provide backup tasks for positions in other departments including marketing and motors. Analyze client sites to target deficient areas and prepare detailed SEO strategy reports. Perform general maintenance duties including electrical, plumbing, repairs and preventive maintenance on HVAC equipment. let us say, what's that? It says something between years 2018 and 2028. Engineering coordinator jobs are expected to be, let us see what it says, something is hidden. Let me blow down so that we can get something. Let's say like this, it's more than, let's say 170, let's say 170, it says. I say, now it says between, it's too small. No problem, let's go read from this. Now, between years 2018 and 2028, engineering coordinator jobs are expected to undergo a growth rate described as slower than average at 3%, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics. So if thought, should I become an engineering coordinator, is a thought actually, or an aim, should I become an engineering coordinator, has crossed your mind, maybe you should take growth rate into account. In addition, number of engineering coordinator opportunities that are projected to become available by 2028 is 5,000 for this in some countries. Don't worry about that. Now, what is average hour salary? Forget that. It's make coordinator, annual salary, this, and I'm not concerned with that. I'm just concerned what's engineering coordinator job. So you can say this means that top earning engineering coordinators make 60,000 more than lowest earnings ones. I'm not interested in that as well. Once you're becoming an engineering coordinator, you may be curious about what other opportunities are out there. Careers aren't one size fits all. For that reason, we discovered some other jobs that you may find appealing. That's something. All right. Now we say that is. I think is something not, I can say, something commercial. So I close this file as well. I go back to my search and find where I stand. I'll find another input from here, and selection of coordination mechanism. It's also engineering coordinator, Abu Dhabi. That's also a job not interested in. Engineering coordinator process, job at Magna. Coordination engineer. In fact, it's very difficult to find specific details about coordination. Engineering coordinator job, why coordination key in construction design. Let us say this, why coordination keys in construction design. That may give some input to us, because I'm trying to find through this, let us say, of course it's not descriptive, but let us say something's better. It's a stone mark and everybody can understand it. Let's take copy image, save image as copy. I don't find that. There's a printout. There's a print I can take. There's no hi here. It says. Just a minute, please. Let me print it. It takes a few seconds, and we will do that. It's okay. We can say it's coming to you. Stone mark, and there's something construction management title, and we can have it, and we got it now. That is what it says. Stone mark, you can see on your page. You can see here, stone mark, why coordination is key in construction industry. Why coordination is key in construction industry, that's what it says. We have to be very careful about this. And here is why coordination is key in construction industry, and you can say here is, we may say, why coordination is in construction industry design project services media blog. Okay, now that's the most projects require Most projects require input of several disciplines to produce a most projects require input of several disciplines to produce a complete set of drawings and specifications. Most projects require input of several disciplines. That is like, most projects require input of several disciplines to produce a complete set of drawings and specifications required to erect a building. Architects, civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineers usually comprise design team, while some complex projects may require other specialized disciplines or consultants. When design team efforts are poorly coordinated, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. When design team's efforts are poorly coordinated, drawings of one discipline may not align with that of another. If such errors make it onto construction drawings, there is a chance that building end up with a deficiency or a change order be needed to resolve issue. To avert consequences of this nature, it's imperative that architects and engineers harmonize their efforts and ensure that their drawings interface properly. His harmonization is presented, and we can say applicable codes in design process starts after a consultation with client, during which project's budget, expected finish date, visual appearances, spatial projects, requirements, functional program, and other design objectives are addressed. Now, having established client's expectations, architect gets to work on drawings and specifications. At minimum, a full set of architectural drawings should comprise floor plans, roof plans, elevations, sections, and perspective drawings. Floor plans are vertical orthographic projections. Floor plans are vertical orthographic projections which show a building's room layouts and other physical attributes for each floor. These drawings depict interior walls, doors, windows, appliances, equipment, and use of all spaces. Roof plans show a top view of building's roof, including slopes, hips, valleys, parapets, skylights, vents, drains, roofing, materials, equipment, and other features. Elevations are horizontal projections that show a building's exterior and sometimes interior as seen from side. Sections depict a view of building as though it's being cut along an imaginary plane. Perspective drawings show a three-dimensional view of building and may basing their work on preliminary architectural drawings. Structural engineers design a structure to support buildings that live and environmental loads, thus enabling it to remain upright. Generally, a building's structure consists of vertical and horizontal elements such as columns and slabs and connections between them. Structural engineers' job is to tailor these features to fit architectural designs. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing MEP designs. Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems must also make their way onto drawings before later are issued for permitting and construction. Having access to established structural and architectural layouts, MEP engineers get to work on their respective drawings and specifications. Other disciplines Other disciplines contributing to overall drawing package may include landscapers. One please, let me put on switch. Landscape, you can say, other disciplines contribute to overall drawing package may include landscape, civil engineers, landscapers, civil engineers, communications engineers, acoustics and specialty consultants, and other whose involvement may be required. Clashing arise when clashes. Clashing arise when drawings do not align well with one another. Common examples of clashing include columns obstructing views or passes misaligned, slabs, edges, mechanical ducts running through structural members, and other instances. Very disagreement between disciplines creates an unbuildable scenario. How to improve coordination? To ensure effective integration between disciplines. Right expectations must be laid out before project begins. Architect and engineers must agree on a set of deliverables that facilitate their team's coordination efforts. These may vary from project to project. But at a minimum, architects should commit to furnishing engineer with some following critical information. Locations of slab edges, floor to floor heights, cavity depths and ceiling interstitial spaces, parapet locations and heights, unique architectural features, areas where design is expected to change in future. As structural design moves forward, engineers should in turn share following elements with architect: locations and sizes of columns, opportunities for improving efficiency of structure through changes to architectural design. As overall design evolves based on clients' feedback, it's important for various disciplines to communicate changes they are making so that everyone can stay on same page. Streamlining exchange of information is an important step in preventing flaws as different parts of design change over time. Today, modern technology offers a great way to improve efficiency of interdisciplinary coordination. Processes such as building information modeling (BIM), integrate various design inputs, facilitating and improving accuracy of clash detection. Peer reviews are also helpful in identifying systemization flaws and getting them fixed. With aid of BIM and construction management practices such as peer reviews, project teams should be well equipped to enhance coordination between design disciplines. As well, for complex projects, It always pays to hire a professional construction manager or organizer or leader to oversee projects planning phases. What is construction management? Project services, professional construction projects management is a super fine-tuned system designed to facilitate planning, coordination, and control of a project from early stages always to project closeout and completion. Qualified construction managers use specialized. So likewise, there's something in this. I don't think this is something to save. It's very common. I'll close this file and go back to see some more point if I can get in this. And that is somewhere you can say. I'm just trying to see what people think about this. That's an important point. Why coordination in keys in construction. Let's go to coordination, engineering in iridium monocluster bifunctional. So engineering management operational design coordination. Let us see what it says. Engineering management operational design coordination. Maybe it's something better. Engineering management operational coordination. Oh, it's nothing very small it is, so I don't think we have to waste time on this. No, we don't waste time. Then there is coordination virtual design engineering. Let us see what it says. We have services or contractors who provide services on engineering. Coordinator resume examples. Engineering coordination mechanism for social clouds. No, it's not necessary to go through. So we say engineering coordination environment in atomic field now. Engineering coordination environment and multi-scale. I'm just trying to speak something for internet, Engineering and coordination environment and pre-construction engineering and BIM's coordination services. Engineering coordinator, no. Engineering coordinator jobs, site coordinator, site engineer. I can see it is. So I don't think something is available. Well, it's difficult to find something net because I don't think SAT wants much. Cooperation, engineering coordination job. Well, just the jobs are the sort of local engineering coordination system. How to set up a local engineering coordination system and engineering coordinators, carriers. Leave it. I don't think there's anything in this. It's nothing here. Well, leave it and I come back to point also. I come back to our system. I can't find anything successfully there in that. So this means not much is available as coordination is concerned, and therefore we have to be very serious about this. I could not find anything very reasonable. In fact, I could not find anything very important on this point, and in coordination point we have to be very clear about this. So we can say, simply speaking, that much information is not available even on internet, on which we can say it's very reliable source in current scenario. But as far as engineering work is concerned, coordination is concerned, I fail to find something significant. So we have to write ourselves or think ourselves. Whatever I try to show you till now is very small part of engineering construction. Means it's not even that standard. I had to save. I didn't like to save it, but because I'm trying to discuss with you what is coordination. There's a wide engineering work in designs, and because the design is very extensive these days. Civil engineering, structural engineering, or mechanical engineering, other designs are very extensive. You cannot measure their bounds. You cannot see where bounds are, and if you see horizon of that, it's like horizon, it's like mirage. You open a book, or you go into designs and you find hundreds and hundreds of formulas. And engineers are already interested, keen to learn designs, and I'm happy with that. At least they are interested in design. But does it solve problem? The question is that, is there a design requirement in field? Of course, it's very much a specialized job, you can say super specialized job, but does it fulfill engineering requirement? My point is that engineering design is a kind of desk job, because I find these days engineers who are of course having educational quantity, educational power, BE or ME or PhDs they have, and they proclaim themselves as structural engineers, I have to say I respect them. To an extent, academics is concerned, professional knowledge is concerned. But is that silver lining you have to draw? Or you have to be a real engineer, major error-free engineer, I should say. On one way, if I claim I'm a structural engineer and I am unable to handle projects independently, I cannot call that I'm doing a practice. I cannot call if I raise questions all times. Raising question is not bad, but if you raise questions on every issue, and if you say, this is my problem, I'm an engineer, I am dealing with this situation, help. Helping is not bad, but we should not forget we are competent professionals. Thinking has no limit, search has no limit, research has no limit. That's the reason I'm raising a question here, that why we should not revisit quality and requirement. Why should we not revisit specifications and procedures? And why not to do update per world working standards requirement? And why say really we have certainly worsening state of quality of works, and how to improve such mandated works quality? How to improve that? Can we improve independently, or we have to improve only from implementation viewpoint? We are not to think upon that. Is thinking limited or barred, or thinking is in hunger? Should we not think on, or should we lock ourselves at code's requirements, or we should not expand our thought process? So many questions erupt out of one issue, and that, are we slaves? That you have to do that way only. Yes, codes are respected, procedures are respected, but do we want to be innovators, or we just want to be followers? Innovation is a part of technology, it's a part of engineering, it's a part of designs, it's a part of work. Innovation, or you can say move forward on your own, that's called lead. If you say you just follow what's given, then that's follow up. Leads versus follow up. Leaders versus followers. In engineering, both are available, leaders and followers. You both are part of system, both are part of quality, both are part of coordination, and both are part of communication. If you have powerful mind, if you are powerful school of thought, you can go into more and more depth of subject. And going into more and more depth of subject means you are thinker, you are a digger, you are an excavator of secrecy, and you can hammer up something that doesn't work. It's like excavation work. You have to excavate to find what is hidden. You have to excavate earth, and you have to place something there, or you have to see how best is that soil, that strata to which you have reached. I'm not talking of pile investigation or soil investigation. I'm just thinking on how best we can do. Engineering is very critical world. Engineering is very common world, and engineering is very much a specialized world. Engineering has all dimensions. All dimensions. There is nothing which is not included in engineering, and when I say engineering, I also include architecture in that. I include mechanical and electrical system in that. I including all those systems which make engineering dream come true. I'm not saying civil engineering dream. I'm saying engineering dreams. And when we say engineering dreams, this means a dream to be rationalized, a dream to be realized based on power of intellectualism, power of intelligence, and that is more and more important. And we have to then say, that's what I say, that worsening state of quality we have to think upon. Why it's worsening? We have certainly worsening state of quality of work, and how to improve such mandated works quality to certain minimum required marks, at least to match with minimum international requirements, or if you don't have courage to raise yourself to international requirements, at least you're bound to high up, you're bound to assent to at least national requirement. That's where we have to think on. For me, requirement is requirement. It is national or international does not make any difference because materials are same. There is no difference between the European requirement and Indian requirement. There is no difference between the European requirement and American requirement. Requirement is requirement. We cannot boast American code is more powerful than English code, or English code is more powerful than European code, or European code is more powerful than our code. I am not going to state that. Work is work, codes are codes, materials are materials. Only difference is that how, into what depth or what height you have entered into, you have studied it into. If you are used to copy paste technology, that is different. If you are based on your thinkology, your thoughtful technology, that's another part of life. It is engineering. It's not slave to anybody. Engineering is not slave to anybody. It's slave to acts, it's slave to work, it's slave to material, it's slave to resources. We have to understand this point. Only education in the world of engineering is that it's different. It's different. Science and engineering of course are related, but engineering is changeable. Science is not changeable. Principles of science cannot be changed at my will or your will. But engineering requires your will, your intelligence, your in-depth study, and engineering, because it relates to intellectual work, when mind is used by engineer, work itself tells what should be done or what can be alternatively done. And when alternatively process starts off, it requires input from all sources. We have to, as in engineering said, we have to use optimally materials, and these materials which we include in engineering permanently are of course permanent materials, because these materials work for coming decades, coming long years, long decades, which in no other profession to find that. No other profession is such an original level as engineering is all about. And there's reason for that. The engineering means use of natural resources for permanent gains, or to make assets in your country. And that was, I can say, engineering is. Therefore, I call engineering a different world. A different than all others. All others. Engineering is not fixed. It cannot be fixed. Yes, it can be used. It can be applied in better ways and better ways always. It can be interpreted differently. It can be amended. It can be modified. It can be charted out on methods. It can be charted out procedure-wise. You can say it can be considered in whatever mode possible, or you can raise levels of achievements from time to time, and you can standardize, like mechanical world, in mechanical engineering. Accuracy is very significant, and in all other you can say. But engineering is not singular, it is plural these days. When we talk of engineering, this means we talk of multiple disciplines of engineering, many branches of engineering. And therefore, you can say when many branches of engineering come into play, life comes into play. Impacts of engineering on life is such powerful that you can change your lifestyle, you can change your standards. You can imagine once it was desert, it was nothing there except crops, and you can see now built up cities and expanded cities all over the world. And of course, in our country, we had nothing 75 years before, and then we have so much with us that we can't handle it properly. And that's where engineering comes into picture. Why can't we handle it properly? Because we do not respect ourselves, we do not respect engineering, and we do not respect profession. In a country where profession is not respected, nothing can move on, nothing can move on. Profession means not engineering profession I'm talking profession in general. Profession says expertise is a must. Experience and expertise, which is based on experience. If experience is a professional, you shall be more and more professional. And profession means advanced study of everything, in-depth study of every item, and that in-depth study is, you may say, beginning of engineering. You have to learn yourself, you have to teach yourself, you have to move yourself, and you have to take care of worsening state of quality. That's the important engineering point. Quality, I'm not talking that's quality system, I'm not talking about that. Quality system is very limited study. If books won't give you answer of quality, if you learn some book about ITP check, about checklist, about means a system that is very limited comprehensively but not extensively. I have seen even those who are non-engineers, they are employed and they have even certification of system, quality system. And I'm not fully in agreement with that. All right, system is fine, system should be there. Responsibilities can be divided, methods can be divided, processes can be charted out, and you can say random checks can be conducted, quality certifications can be awarded. But what is required is not certification award. The requirement is work result, work product. I don't care for certificates alone if it doesn't perform, it doesn't tell confirmed, it doesn't guarantee anything. If I got quality certification, my firm says quality certified, what does it mean? It means my firm should produce those goods, but unfortunately, you can see all organizations, all industries, and all factories, and I think all who work with are having, almost all having quality certifications. But if you measure quality, if you see quality, what happens, how much does it exist, we will be finding disappointing report, disappointing data. That is very much painful. That after having so much experience, quality system, so many modifications made in quality system, even it doesn't move to that focus which should be. It doesn't evaluate itself, doesn't competence itself, doesn't, you can say, capacity. It doesn't have any power of that world which it should have. We can say it's quality, system quality. I'm not interested in procedures, I'm not interested in what system do you follow, but import. Of course, system is required for certifications, but my measurement would be whatever product you're delivering, you deliver, it should be quality mark, or you can say above acceptable mark. And if you can achieve that, that's a minimum requirement here in current scenario. that whatever we do should be better than what we specified. Maybe it's higher class for purpose of publicity, you can say, and that's where it slides in. My questions remain same. As we said in beginning of this statement, I say, can we know and apply, can we know and apply quality standards complied with overseas, for example, in GCC countries on buildings and on plant facilities? I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying whatever done in GCC is more than better quality. I'm not referring to that, but at least some standards exist there, standards of determination, standards of commitment of doing something per requirement, at least, if not. I know many few countries in Gulf only do this, not all, and maybe I don't know what's the situation currently, because I've been distant from Gulf for over a decade. You may say over a decade, or say more than 10 years, not been to Gulf countries. So there may be some deterioration of quality system, as I understand, or maybe it's due to some other reason, but there was something, I accept that, there was something better. But since generations changes, charges come to younger generation, and younger generations who enthusiastic of force but not matured at that level required, we may say something misses. Well, so worsening state of quality, we have say quality of materials, and whatever material is most important is concrete here. So worsening state of quality of concrete, and how to improve such mandated quality to certain minimum required marks. That is a gross question, and it's not answerable. It can't be answered in just one page or one line. It requires extensive study, and this practical study, not just the theoretical study. Rather, we have to make ourselves field professors, work professors, rather than academical text professors. Engineering is self-study as far as the major part of engineering is concerned, because engineering is vast education that your college time is not sufficient for that. Yes, you can get confidence level while you study in your class, and you can raise questions to your professor, and your professors can raise questions to you, and that way, as far as education is concerned, that's fine. But you do many practicals, and you attend your workshops or laboratories, and you have to study a lot in theory in various subjects, and that's beauty of education, that you are going to make your world, modify improve your world, and you have not worry about yourself as far as job is concerned. If you got good job, you don't care for whatever is important and whatever others care for, because you know what is life, how this happen. It's not easy one to move everything in one go, and even long-term plan if you fail. And that's what I'm saying. Quality has related to every requirement. If there's demand of something, you can say, yes, there's a demand, my growth is good, my business is good, but can you replace good quality by bad quality? You cannot. Nobody would accept that. And if by something, there's some average status, if you can say, no, I accept this, well, that is exceptional case, not general one. So we can say worsening state of quality of concrete, how to improve such mandated quality to certain minimum required marks or levels. That's a question mark here. Concrete component in construction amounts to major percentage of cost, and therefore it becomes incumbent on us to care about quality of such component, and that's right point, right time. Means why I'm talking about this quality, technical work quality, engineering work quality, or you can say establishment related quality. These also play important role in this, and they have to be careful about that. We can say that concrete component in constructions amounts to major percentage of cost. Concrete component in construction amounts to major percentage of cost, and this is not cost only, This is a major process of time as well. Major process of time as well, so we can say concrete component in constructions amounts to major percentage of cost, and therefore it becomes incumbent on us to care about quality of such component. Of course, it's of course out of common and professional understanding why we have no seriousness in this regard. Why we have no seriousness in this regard, and worsening state of communication and coordination, as I said in this, and this also is subject now for me. I consider as an individual, as an engineer, that communication and coordination is very important part of engineer's life. And if engineer does not understand these points in a professional way, just thinking it's not my subject, it's nothing to do with me, but fact remains that you have to understand that also. What you are, where you are, what's your power, you have to understand that fact. And there's importance there. It's of course, concrete component in construction amounts to major percentage of cost, and therefore it becomes incumbent on us to care about quality of such component. And we can see it's of course out of common and professional undertaking, that understanding that why do we have no seriousness in this regard. That's very big question mark. Why are we missing this, and why eyes of our seniors or those who are responsible for this, they did not understand that point practically, which is understood by many other countries. You may give a reason, I know that you have no right to talk of this, but I see you have no privilege to talk as such. So this is the main point I'm saying, is of course out of common and professional understanding that why we have no seriousness in this regard, and that seriousness is required. It is required, without which we cannot move together in a professional way. So worsening state of communication and communication coordination during work for engineering designs and executions or construction activities, that is same questions, a group of questions, you can still go on list. We can say determined and dedicated role of engineers towards realizing these requirements, or else qualities remains a myth. So what it says, my proposition here says determined. This means determination, and dedicated role means dedication towards works. Dedication works, and that's what I'm saying. Very important terms these are, determined and determination, dedication towards realizing engineering requirements, coordination and we can say communication requirements. Or else quality remains a myth, because I said before, we discussed that in beginning itself we have to start with this quality, communication, coordination. And if we do not do that, I agree that youth are not having that command, but they are having good mind. Maybe we can't understand how work is done beginning itself, has happened with me also. But we had to do it. So we can say that we should have determination, engineers should have determination, and not only engineer but also engineering worker should have determination, solid determination or concrete determination, and dedication in roles of engineers, dedication, and of course often of, you can say, this is often a prime requirement. It's not, nobody would tell you what you have to do because you are not a kid, you're not a child, you know what is done and what is required to be done. In works, when you deal with engineering, and it's of course very important point, you're not a kid that somebody should tell you what's your job. Your job is your job. It's situation based, what project you have and what's your job to do towards that project. Therefore, commitment, determination about what to do, how to do, and role, dedicated role of obligations, responsibilities. And towards realizing these requirements of quality, coordination, communication, judgment, knowledge, all these in strings coordination, remain a quality core topics, remain quality topics. Otherwise, if we don't really identify and recognize that you have to do all this, in that case, quality on job, quality of product or goods remain myth. And myth is not final answer. You have to get this point also. Myth, if you convert to physical reality, then it can be said that myth is out itself, and we have to keep myth out. When you have to keep myth out, it's a job, and you can say everybody has put its myth out. And where we stand there, here like this, can we do it? Or we are incompetent, inconsistent societies and communities in engineering. Particularly I am saying in engineering because engineering has got many institutions, many reliability level engineers and many forgetful engineers who don't even remember what is to be done. In fact, we have to transform existing engineering strength of personal or force into standard quality working force. And with working force means it's not working force to raise load, but working force of mind and experience. Working force of mind and experience, and which can be, I think, first power in our country is this. First power in our country, first strength of our country is education. That those who come out of university saying, I'm this graduate, but it doesn't match your performance, it doesn't match your recognition, it doesn't match what you think, maybe not necessarily accept that, but think as far as our services are concerned for that poor nation. So I say, shall we transform existing engineering strength into standard quality workforce? And that is very big question mark. Very big question mark, because our universities can't do that. We don't have such university, not only in here but also elsewhere. Engineering institutions are incomplete. Engineering universities are incomplete. They do not actually know what is engineering about, to be very frank. It may be universities, it may be regional colleges, it may be institutions. They are sit They are concealed shops, they are concealed desks. Maybe those people do not know practical, maybe, or do not understand it, what's required. Institutionalized work is always very important, very important. We have to create force of engineering. We have to create people who really know what is engineering, because engineering definition is not answer. Engineering is answer. We can write definitions, we can write notes, whatever. Those are only for remembering purpose, only for recalling purpose. But here we are interested in force, engineering force, as I said. Engineering force cannot be in millions or in lakhs. It can be a very small force, say for example 2 nation. So we can say again, I'm questioning about standard quality workforce of, and when I say quality workforce, it has two meanings: workforce quality and quality related workforce. And I had to think on first engineers workforce, on coordination and communication. You can say unknown, or you can say undefined disciplines. Undefined disciplines, because if you talk to someone, I'm not like as such, in that case there can be some problem to understand. That problem requires solution. We have to find that solution, and the solution has to come out automatically when we understand that. So we have to say we require a force, and we have that force. We cannot say no. Force is available, but will is not available. Will to create, will to do something extraordinarily in an ordinary way, outstandingly, in a non-outstanding way or normal way. And if we get these points, reference, whatever you do, well, we can simply say, if we take this into consideration also, who shall decide about such questions that are being faced in current scenario? Answer is from everybody. Well, we shall decide about this. When we say we shall decide about this, we are saying as engineers and not ordinary people. Every engineer knows sometimes, but unfortunately it's also known that we have to constitute a force, and which force is that? We have to find ourselves that answer. Nobody will answer us, and we are part of that force. Every one of us is part of that force. We have to study ourselves. We cannot study this requirement from engineering books. It is unfortunate, but we have to write books now. That's important. Means every one of us has to try to write something, and we have to write our experience basis. We have to write what was wrong when I did this, and what was problem when I did this without even knowing, because in those days there was, I think it's a black time. We went from there. after going somewhere else. Engineers' detailed deliberation must, and that's the point. First, we have to raise ourselves to that level we can deal with, and that's very important point. And information must be taken care of, and we have to think about how to make ourselves better feeders into engineering requirement, into development of coordination engineering, in which coordination engineering plus stones reference is also given. So just I take note of this. That's the reason, and we have to discuss here. Just give me a few minutes and I'll be back in that time, because that's also an important point we have to deal with. Being back, I'll be back to you, and we have to see how to do it. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, I'll come back, So we have to see this in this different scenario. We have to see this in different scenario, and also we have to see that we have to do something, we have to do, can do, and that is really, as I said, that we have to constitute a workforce, we have to constitute a quality force, we have to constitute coordination force, communication force, because I find that these two forces are not available in engineering world. When we deal with quality, we deal with technical work, we deal with contracts, we deal with disputes, and we deal with all those miscellaneous issues which cannot be and probably may not be documented formally as law expects, as everybody expects, because of volumes of works, volumes of requirements, and different engineering world. We cannot compare engineering world activities to normal life activities. 80% of instructions in engineering world are given verbally, and there is no way that this can be documented because of various reasons, that engineering force is not literate to that mark, workers are not literate to that mark as offices staff is, and engineers too are not well trained in writing skills, in speaking skills. They are trained, and not even trained for working skills, but they learn in field how work is done. And work is done in various ways, in many ways. And when we have to create force, we have to include this requirement syllabus in our programs. But if we include that, to teach that, we require those professional teachers who have knowledge, who have experience of coordination, experience of communication. It's not ordinary syllabus. It cannot be normal syllabus. It requires creation of a mechanism where students and teachers can talk together at that level. And I think it's not going to work in a brief scenario of 4 or 5 years, where maybe one subject allotted only 3 to 4 months or 5 months maximum. Only way is to learn self-education, self-time, self-attainment. Otherwise, we cannot expect what I'm talking of. And you can say, there is therefore this reason that we could not get it right way. We have to be serious about this. We can do this, and it's no joke. It's something very, very serious that requires serious attention. If you have to attain something like that. Engineering is very serious world. Design engineering is super serious. Construction engineering is much more superior and serious. We have to realize this fact. Nothing can be taken for granted in this regard. I have also included here arbitration in this talk, though it's limited. I did not have discussion on this because I think it's related to that force which you have to create. Problem lies in a fact that as far as arbitration is concerned, it has been so far captured by those people who do not understand what is engineering work. Unfortunate it is, and throughout world, arbitration has been captured by that part of life who never ever have an exposure to contracts, to engineering, to technical work, and they don't really understand that law application and engineering applications are entirely reverse to each other. Reliance on documents, reliance on evidences is good in social life, is good where people are educated everywhere. But in construction, in manufacturing, and you can say in that professional group where work is more important, pressure is more important, result is more important, quality is more important, and in that crowd of requirements, writing is missed somewhere. People have no time to create documents to support your case. And in that way, arbitration should be done by those only who understand facts of life. And that is where I am trying to stress. I have experienced that people are abused, contractors are abused, employers know weakness of contractors, and these luminaries of law, they do not understand facts in life. They only count on their knowledge, which is based indoors. They don't count on knowledge that is actual one. They don't understand environment among where people work. They don't understand 95% of workers are illiterate academically. They are excellent in technical work. Engineers do not understand what is communication. This is not a part of engineering. And if you don't do communication work properly, certainly there will be lapses. And that lapses is difficult to make those people who arbitrate to understand. Even judges cannot understand that. Lawyers cannot understand that. Everything cannot be controlled under evidences. Something has to be really clearly understood and modified and dignified in real light. I simply can say one answer, very one answer to every question. There's only one answer, that if work is done competently, authentically, payment should be made, and that's it. That's it, nothing else. I believe only this. We'll continue this talk because there is no end, there is no near end to this, and we have to move forward in this regard, and we shall move forward. I take, now it's already 3 hours, I like to close it at this moment because I am going to divert this talk to add more, or you can say I'm going to augment scope of this talk of quality. That would include coordination, communication, and that's why I've prepared one more page as I showed to you. This page I again show to you. This is my address page. You can say this is my address page. Why is that? And this is my certification, and this is my quality page as discussed with you, and this is my coordination page, and I'll add more pages in this, more expansion of this. And meanwhile I'm going to close this. Thank you very much.